And we do have a full agenda. So in the sake of time, I want to go ahead and let everyone know, if you're called upon, just for the viewing audience, just please go ahead and state your name and department in advance. And with that said, we'll begin with resolutions. RS 2018-1131, sponsors Virtue and Betnay, approves a grant from the Tennessee Department of Finance and Administration to the Office of the District Attorney General to work with Hispanic victims of crime and their families due to language limitations and cultural understanding. Is there a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded. Councilman Glover.
Thank you, Chair. I think it'd be unfair. I just spoke with the district attorney. If you wouldn't mind, General Funk, if you can just kind of give us an overview to make sure we kind of understand how little this cost us and the maximum benefit we get from that, if you wouldn't mind. Madam Chair, I'm sorry for turning around and not addressing you.
Not a problem. Welcome, General Funk.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me. We have roughly 20 victim witness coordinators in our office. Those people's job is to support victims by letting them know what the criminal justice system, what the policies and procedures are, to help them make sure they know their court dates, to make sure they've got the proper supports involved as far as any type of counseling or any help for their families. We have had a grant dating back to about 1984 where the federal government has paid 80% of salaries for 3 of those individuals. We have recently applied and been approved for a 4th individual. The grant has to be renewed on a regular basis. It's up for renewal now. The total amount for these 4 individuals would be roughly $523,000, of which 80% is going to be paid for by the federal government, and our amount would be $123,000. The additional person roughly will cost in the low 60s, of which our 20% would be roughly $12,000 to $13,000, and we'll have this extra person. They really are serving populations such as the Hispanic community, Ethiopians, Sudanese, folks that are underserved. We do not want people who are criminals to target those types of communities, and because of their unfamiliarity with the system, sometimes those crimes go unreported. By having a victim witness coordinator in a position to be able to support them, then we're making sure that crime doesn't tend to saturate those communities, because people pick on folks that can be taken advantage of. So that's what these folks are doing. They're doing a great job, and we're going to be able to serve them better with our 4th coordinator that, if this is approved, we'll be able to hire.
Thank you so much, General. Councilman Glover.
So, Madam Chair, I just want to make sure I understand. So, I mean, we're looking at an additional cost of roughly $12,000 to $14,000, $15,000, somewhere in that range. Am I understanding that?
That's correct.
Okay.
So we're asking to renew our commitment that we've had historically to this grant, and then add an extra $12,000 to $13,000 into it, because that'll give us an additional person.
Yeah, because the positions were already there. This just gives you another person.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. I renew the motion to approve. Thank you.
Thank you, General. Thank you, Councilman Glover. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2018-1139, sponsors Davis, Scott Davis, Virtue, and Mendez, authorizes the Metro Development and Housing Agency to enter into a pilot agreement and accept payments in lieu of ad valorem taxes with respect to a multifamily housing project located at 2034 Pitway Drive. Is there a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded. Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I just wanted to briefly make a comment thanking the sponsors and to point out a very important thing about this pilot that I think sometimes goes unnoticed, that this is going to new supply of houses. And that's just, I think, a really excellent of our relatively limited pilot capacity, and to direct it to new supply is a wonderful thing for our county. Thank you.
The sponsors did do a great job on this deal. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2018-1140, sponsors Vircher, Mendez, and others, approves a grant between the Metro Development and Housing Agency and the Metro Department of Social Services, the Metro Homelessness Commission, to provide services for homelessness persons, including funding for emergency payments for persons housed through the 100,000 Homes campaign. Is there a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded. Vice Chair Schulman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just interested to know exactly what this money is going to be used for. I think it's $85,000.
We have someone, she's coming up.
Good afternoon. I'm Angie Hubbard, Director of Community Development at MDHA. This is actually a total of $85,000. Part of it is we've been having a recurring program with the Metro Homelessness Commission where we provide block grant funds for one-time payments to persons that are getting housed for security deposits, utility deposits, and rent deposits. And it's paid to the landlord or to the utility, not to the person. And then the second part of the funding is to assist us in our new 5-year consolidated plan. Our partners at the Metro Homelessness Commission, who is the planning and coordination body on homelessness for Nashville, is actually leading the consultation efforts.
So it sounds like is it the majority of the funds that actually go for direct services?
Yes, the majority is for the rent deposits, the services for the homeless.
And then that last part, exactly what does that go for? And that may be the smaller amount,
Yes,
the $15,000.
so $15,000 is to support staff costs at the Homelessness Commission for their time in hosting the consultations for us.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Glover.
Thank you, Chair. Just, Chair, I would like to know, if we pay the deposit, in the event the individual who that actually lives there honors the lease, rent, whatever it happens to be, does Metro get that money back, or is it pretty much so gone at that point?
Ms. Tackett, can you speak to that, how that reimbursement happens, if it does?
Judith Tackett with the Metropolitan Homelessness Commission. If it's a NES deposit or so, then a lot of times through NES we get it back. Otherwise, it's gone.
So, and if you don't know the answer right now, it's fine. Do you have an idea of the percentage of how much is gone versus what comes back to the city?
We're trying to get that better, but the data collection that when we've done spot data checking, 85% retain their housing, so it will be 10-15%.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilman. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2018-1141, sponsor Vircher, authorizes the Metro Department of Law to compromise and settle the personal injury claims of Tamara Nash and Timothy Nash against Metro government in the amount of $50,000. Is there a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded. Seeing no discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2018-1142, sponsors O'Connell Vircher, accepts a donation from the Friends of the Nashville Farmers Market for the use and benefit of the Nashville Farmers Market. Is there a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded. Seeing no discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2018-1143, sponsors Vircher and Roberts, approves a fire prevention and safety grant from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security to the Metro Nashville Fire Department to develop and implement a department-wide training program for arson investigation and to develop a comprehensive public education program for non-English speaking residents. Is there a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded. Vice Chair Schulman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I don't need this specifically at this point, but what I'd be interested to know or get an update on this one, and actually the next one, is just what how the funding is going and what it's being utilized for.
Oh, absolutely. We can have fire come up and discuss.
Okay.
Your vice chair, we can get that now for you.
Gee, it's nice to be vice chair.
Yes.
Thank you. Could I ask that Councilman Glover's microphone be turned off?
Okay. Al Thomas, Fire Marshal for the city, Nashville Fire Department. And your question was about what the money was going for?
Yeah,
Is that
just
correct?
kind of an update.
Yes. Well, there's actually 2 requests as part of this grant, which is allowed under the rules of the grant. The first one is to enhance our capabilities in the arson investigation unit. Of course, with the growth of the city, sometimes comes the growth of other things that goes along with that. Our arson investigation unit does a very good job at what they do and following cases that are suspicious in nature and going to getting convictions and that sort of thing, but we feel like we could do better. So this program will pay for some funding to create a training program which will enhance the investigators' abilities to be able to investigate those. And also we're going to create another training program that goes to all of our firefighters so that they'll be able to recognize things when they make the calls on the front end that will help us in the initial investigations. It's just like the TV show. The first 48 hours are real critical in getting that information in, and this will help us along that way. The second program is for public education for fire prevention, and that is to help us with a program in some targeted areas. We're working with the State Fire Marshal's Office to identify a lot of the schools that have high-risk populations based on statistics as far as where fires could occur. And this program will help create a fire safety message that we can go into 109 schools that have been identified here in Nashville, and it will address not only the English-speaking population, but also all of the other languages that are spoken in the community. So that's for that, enhancing that.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair Schulman. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2018-1144, sponsors Virtue and Roberts, approves an amendment to a grant from the Tennessee Department of Finance and Administration to the Metro Nashville Police Department to support mental health services and criminal justice system advocacy to victims of violent crime. Is there a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded. Councilwoman Gilmore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Someone here that can speak about the program?
Lieutenant Jim Stevens from the Metropolitan Police Department, Strategic Development Division. Basically, this is a continuation of a grant that we've received from 1986. It pays 75% of the salaries of counselors to offer counseling services to the victims of crime assistance program.
And how do the people get assigned the counseling if they need it?
I'm sorry, ma'am?
How do the persons, the citizens that have been a part of this, how do they get identified to come in for counseling? How does that work?
The specifics of the particular program, but any of the victims of crimes, various personal crimes, can seek counseling assistance through the police department. Either the counselors themselves can get somebody in there, or an officer can send the information up to the program to get someone counseling services.
Okay, thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2018-1145, sponsors Virtue and Gilmore, approves a grant from the Tennessee Department of Health to the Metro Board of Health to provide core medical services and early intervention services to facilitate and support HIV/AIDS medical care. Is there a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded. Seeing no discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2018-1146, sponsors Virtue, Gilmore, and Roberts, approves a Rachel Ray Save Them All grant from the Best Friends Animal Society to the Metro Board of Health for the Have a Heart Heartworm Treatment Program. Is there a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded. Vice Chair Schulman.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I have a question for Rachel Ray. Is she here?
I think the best we have is Mr. Sharp.
Well, then I'm okay. I don't really need to ask anything.
Seeing no further discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2018-1147 sponsors Vircher, Gilmore, and Allen, appropriates grant funds from the Tennessee Department of Human Services to the Metro Action Commission from a community services block grant to provide a range of services designed to assist low-income and homeless individuals. Is there a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded. Seeing no discussion, all in favor? Council Lady Gilmore.
If we could just have someone to come speak about it.
Good afternoon, Marvin Cox, Metropolitan Action Commission Community Programs Director. The Community Services Block Grant, earlier this year, our funder has changed the date. Usually we would operate July 1 to June 30th. We're going to a federal fiscal year, which would be October 1 to September 30th. These programs are designed to assist individuals low income with rent, mortgage, our adult education program, and programs we use through our whole family approach with our Child Development Assistance Program and our CompTIA program, which we work with individuals in information technology.
Thank you. And in addition to this, how are your LAHI? Is it your LAHI?
Yes, ma'am.
Are those still doing fine from the federal government?
Yes, ma'am. That's a different program, but yes, ma'am. We do energy assistance through that program with electric and gas for low-income residents.
Okay. It seemed like I heard a rumor. That's all I wanted to check, too. I know it was a different program, but just if the federal government was still funding that.
Yes, ma'am. That program operates on a July 1 to June 30th time frame.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Cox.
All right.
Fine District 28 constituent right there. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2018-1148 sponsors Vircher, Elrod, and others, approves a pedestrian signal priorities grant from the Greater Nashville Regional Council to the Metro Nashville Public Works Department to install pedestrian facilities and signalization at the most dangerous intersections throughout Davidson County. Is there a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded. Seeing no discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2018-1149 sponsors Davis, Scott Davis, Withers, and others, approves an application for an East Nashville Backbones grant from the Greater Nashville Regional Council to the Metro Nashville Public Works Department to design, construct, and evaluate a span of 3 major separated backways on 1 minor separated backway in East Nashville to connect communities, encourage active transportation, and decrease automobile dependence. There is a letter to approve. Is there a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded. Seeing no discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Resolution passes. Resolution RS 2018-1150 sponsors Dow, Vircher, and others, authorizes Amendment 1 to a participation agreement between Metro Government and the Metro Department of Public Works for the design and construction of access roads connecting Cane Ridge, Old Franklin Road to I-24 interchange at Hickory Hollow Parkway. Is there a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded.
I apologize, Madam President. I wanted to speak on the bill that I'm sponsoring. The one that was previously.
The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. I apologize. If you can go back to that bill just real quickly, humor me. I apologize to the committee. That grant for the bike lanes, what area is that focused on? Mostly East Nashville. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. And that's $1.3 million or 1.4?
I don't have my analysis in front of me.
I'll ask afterwards, but continue on your committee. Thank you.
Was that just your comment, Councilman?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Councilman Glover.
Thank you, Chair. If I could, the main sponsor if we could just get a kind of an overview, because I'm reading the analysis and just want to kind of understand what we're doing and how this works and what it does for the overall community as a whole. So not trying to put the sponsor on the spot, but just help me understand beyond what I'm reading in the analysis, please.
Not a problem, Councilman. Just for the viewing audience, we are on RS 2018-1150.
Right.
Council Lady Dow, you're recognized.
Thank you. I'll be happy to speak on this for just a little bit. If you remember, most of us probably don't, but back in the 70s, when they constructed Hickory Hollow Parkway off I-24, there was plans to complete it. It was not fully completed. They did one portion of it, and the second portion, they ran out of money. And so since 1970s, they planned to complete it. When the two developers came for the Century Farm development where IKEA is, there was conversations in the many community meetings about developing our 100-year-old Century Farm. And one of the things that neighbors out in our community said is that if there was going to be any more development out in southeast Davidson County, that we wanted to make sure that we have infrastructure put in. So one of the things that we were able to do is to work with the state and work with our local government, Matt Wilshire, of course, and the prior administration to work out a funding arrangement that allowed for participation with Metro, the developer, and our local government. So what you see that is before you today is the actual funding for that participation. So the project includes access and completion of the I-24 exchange. That's the interstate part, but in order to get on the interstate, we need connector roads built internally within the development and off our local roads. And so the agreement is a participation between Metro and the developer to build those connector roads. So we have a couple of connector roads, and I don't know if they included it in the analysis, but I have a diagram that I'll be happy to share with any of you so you can see the roads that they're going to build. But that's going to create a tremendous opportunity for us out in our area because, as you know, we have a lot of dense development around the Bell Road area, and unfortunately that exit hadn't been much help to us. So the agreement is TDOT is putting in around 21 million, I think, 20,400,000 and some thousand. And then Metro will be splitting like 12 million and 12 million for the connector roads with the developer. So our participation amount is about $12 million. If you have any more questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Well, actually, what I would like to do is, if I may, Madam Chair, go to Mr. Wilshire. And so give me an idea on how this one actually broke down on percentages, on how it paid out, or how it's being paid for, I should have said. I'm sorry, I said that probably in the wrong tense. So it looks like this is actually more of a kind of a give and take. And correct me if I'm wrong as I'm reading the analysis.
Mr. Wilshire.
Sure, I'd be happy to answer your question. The councilwoman did a lot of the work on this as well, but in short, there is about a 300-acre development in this area, and the role of Metro government, we believe, is to provide things like safe streets through police officers, educate kids, and to provide connectivity. And so this is a means for the city to provide some additional connectivity with roads through this area, providing, as the councilwoman said, incremental economic development. The bulk of the funding comes from the state and the federal government for the interchange, and we agreed to split 50-50, that portion of the development not paid for by the state or the federal government, 50-50 with the developers.
So roughly 12-12?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. So how many jobs again on this, please?
So it actually could be a really absurd amount of jobs. Specifically, the 300 acres will have a variety of developments. There'll be certainly some multifamily that's already begun construction, hospitality, the IKEA is going to be located in this development, and this is essentially a prerequisite for the IKEA to work. But there are essentially 5 or 6 development pads that we think are ideally situated for office development. As you probably know, CHS has a Councilwoman, is about 1,500 people now, I think, working in the CHS development that's in sort of the back corner of this project. So the direct number of jobs, I don't want to say, but essentially the opportunity, there's at least one opportunity that went to another county that we believe, if this infrastructure were in place, would now be in Davidson County. And so, I mean, it literally could be in the 5,000 once it's done.
Very nice. Well, Council Lady, congratulations. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilman Glover. Councilman Mendez.
I just wanted to add a voice of support for this and thank Council Lady Dowell. As I think everybody knows, Southeast Nashville, due to its primarily rural background, is filled with winding roads that have almost no ability to get across the area from one side to the other without running into terrible traffic choke points. And finishing out this interchange and providing the connectivity on the southwest side of I-24 is really critical, and this is an important infrastructure project for us to support.
Thank you, Councilman, for that support. Council Lady Gilmore.
I just wanted to publicly thank Councilmember Dow. I know she's been working a couple of years fighting for the district, and there's 2 big feathers in her hat that she has. One was the council meeting before with the Business Improvement District, which is really important. We have a lot of them downtown, but to take it to the suburban area. So I really wanted to commend you on that, and this one as well, and just all of the jobs and getting the proper infrastructure there. So you really are to be commended for that.
Thank you, Council Lady. Council Lady Dow.
I missed the CBID conversation we had last week. I had a personal family emergency, but I had a lot of council members ask me about the CBID, and I wanted to publicly say that it was Council Lady Gilmore in my first term, because my neighbors would ask, how does the Gulch have all those nice flowers and so forth? And it took me about 4 meetings for she to communicate to me that they were in a special district and they were paying for that, and I wasn't paying for it with our Antioch tax dollars. So from that conversation, I was able to connect my business owners, actually with Tom Turner. And he sat down with them, and it took a while, but that was the outcome of it. And we did work with our state legislators as well. So that just shows you, you know, having the experience and sharing the information, how much it helps. So I really appreciate that to you, Council Lady Gilmore. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Lady. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Resolution passes. RS 2018-1151, sponsors Dow, Vercher, and others, authorizes Amendment 1 to an intergovernmental agreement between the Tennessee Department of Transportation and the Metro Department of Public Works with the construction of the interchange modification on I-24 East at Hickory Hollow Parkway. Is there a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded. Seeing no discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Resolution passes. Now we're on bills on public hearing and second reading. BL 2018-1139, sponsors Syracuse, Vercher, and Bedney, approves the Donaldson Transit-Oriented Redevelopment Plan. I believe we do have a substitute. Is that correct, Councilman? We do have a substitute. Is there a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded. Councilman Mendez.
Well, and just for clarity, I think the substitute package has 2 different substitutes for this. And so I think the motion is for substitute A, which in the packet we've got on our desk starts at page 1 and runs through page 27. I'll say that I've worked extensively with Councilman Syracuse and MDHA to have this substitute into the place where it is now. And I know Councilman Syracuse isn't on the committee, but I'm sure he'd like to have a chance to describe it in more detail. But I just wanted to clarify, we're talking about substitute A.
Substitute A. Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Syracuse.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate it. Indeed, this substitute more fully flushes out the Donaldson's TOD and gives a lot of clarity and just more to the plan on both the development and the housing side. We've worked very closely in concert with the administration, legal, MDHA planning, so I'm very proud of what we've been able to accomplish with this substitute. So my goal is to introduce the substitute so that it goes to the Planning Department and Commission, that they have that to review at the Planning Commission on April 26th. But what I also want to do is defer then, we had originally scheduled tomorrow, the 17th, to be the public hearing here at Council, but I wanted to defer that to May 15th. Thank you.
He's not. Give me 1 second, Councilman. There's a motion, need a motion to defer the substitute. Council Lady Allen.
Thank you. I just was going to ask for more instructions, but if we've got time to read through it, I will study it and save my questions for later. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Lady. Councilman Glover.
I'm just looking for, Mr. Jameson, tell me what we do here as far as a request has been made by the sponsor. Not certain if you're on budget and finance, so if not, then give us some direction, please.
A committee member could move the substitute.
So I will move the substitute.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Now we're on the bill as substituted. Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I just wanted to memorialize for members of the committee MDHA's commitment and Marvelous Joe Kane's commitment to share with us the tax analysis that would go with this particular transit-oriented district. In the analysis is the note that only 30% of the increased tax revenue would go to pay the TIF loans as contemplated in this. And quite wonderfully, MDHA has agreed to share their work with us. So if you'd look for that in your email box of the projected development anticipated by this TOD. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Cooper. Vice Chair Shulman.
I think I'm going to defer to Councilman Mendez.
Councilman Mendez.
I think what the sponsor would like is to have us move accept the substitute as amended, and then defer for second reading again on May 15 with a re-referral to Budget and Finance.
You got that motion?
Accept the ordinance as substituted.
Correct.
Accepted as substituted, deferred to May 15th, and re-refer back to Budget and Finance.
That's what I meant to say.
Just want to make sure we're clear. There's a motion to defer the substitute to May 15th and re-refer back to Budget and Finance.
Approve the ordinance as substituted.
Approve the ordinance as substituted.
Then move the entire package deferred to May 15th.
Okay, so we're on the bill as substituted. Go ahead and take the motion.
So you're moving to approve the ordinance as substituted, then to defer public hearing to May 15th with a re-referral to Budget and Finance?
I think we keep saying the same thing over and over again.
Okay, we just want to make sure we're clear.
Sorry, go ahead.
We just want to make sure we're clear. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? You got it?
I got it.
Okay. Bill is deferred as substituted to May 15th and re-referred back to Budget and Finance. Councilman Mendez. Did we just mess that up?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Okay. Councilman Glover.
No.
Oh, you were just pressing too? Okay. BL 2018-1142, sponsor Murphy, amends Metro Code section to require notice to Metro Council members of fund requests within the members' district. Do you have a letter of approval from the sponsor?
Want to move it to the Hill?
Okay, we'll move that to the Hill. BL 2018-1143, sponsors Johnson, Mina Johnson, Murphy, and others, approves an agreement between the Tennessee Department of Transportation, City of Belle Meade, CSX Transportation, Department of Public Works for payment to CXT for costs incurred during the construction phase of the bridge rehabilitation project at the Hillwood Boulevard Bridge and Richland Creek. Is there a motion? Oh, we do not. We do not have a letter from the sponsor. Did you have anything?
I did not have a letter.
Okay, we'll move that one also. BL 2018-1144, sponsors Virtue, Bettany, and Elrod, authorizes temporary and permanent easements to the Tennessee Department of Transportation for properties owned by the Metro government. Is there a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded. Seeing no discussion, all in favor? Opposed? The bill passes. Now we're on bills on third reading. BL 2018-1124, sponsor Hurt, amends the Metro Code regarding public bathroom facilities. Do not have a letter from the sponsor.
And it's that they also defer.
Yeah. Says be deferred by rule.
Still do not have. Which have
Yeah.
letters, and those will be deferred by rule. We intended to be deferred anyway.
Okay, she did, okay. So we're going to go back to BL 2018-1142. This will be deferred by rule also. BL 2018-1143, sponsors Johnson, Mina, Murphy, and others will also be deferred by rule.
Correct. And then you've got the late item.
And we have one late file resolution.
Murphy and Mina.
Sponsor Virtue, a resolution approving an application for an Atama Archaeological Park grant from the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation to the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Metro Nashville Parks and Recreation Department to begin the development and implementation of the park master plan. Is there a motion? It's been moved and properly seconded. Council Lady Henderson.
Thank you, Chair Richard. No need for me to speak. I realize you're co-sponsor on the bill, so all good. Thank you. If anybody has any questions, Mr. Naich is here from the Parks Department. Thank you.
Mr. Naich, would you like to come up and speak to the committee as it relates to this grant?
Good afternoon. I'm Tim Naich with Metro Parks. Happy to answer any questions that you may have, but in a nutshell, this is an application for $500,000 to implement the first phase of the master plan for Atafama Archaeological Park. Metro's matching commitment to this is the land itself, so there's no additional Metro funds that will be required of it, although the Friends Group has some existing funds that they will ultimately put into this project and are strategizing on a second phase of a private capital funding campaign.
The last item.
Thank you so much. Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I just wanted to thank the Parks Department and also Council Lady Henderson for helping get this application in on time. It's going to be a significant addition to our park system, I hope, in time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Resolution passes. And we are adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.